Hello everybody on the internet, it is time once again to look at some more Hearthstone cards for Witchwood. The last one we stopped off on last time was the Clockwork Automaton, so we're going to move on to the Coffin Crasher. 6 cost priest card, 6/5 Death Rattle, summon a Death Rattle minion from your hand. It's pretty okay. I think so. Definitely works well in, it works pretty okay in a like a quest priest, and there are a few Death Rattle minions I think that priest have that would just be all right to just play out for free. Anyway, like Obsidian Statue, you can get an Obsidian Statue out early with this thing, and even if you don't play it early, you can play it for free on the turn that it would normally be played and still have your mana left over. So yeah, I think so. I think it's a pretty good card. Pretty decent stat line for what it is, and the Death Rattle is nice. Next, Darius Crowley, 5 cost 4/4 warrior legendary. Rush. After this attacks and kills a minion, gain +2/+2. Now, I've had a few discussions with people, and we can't really seem to agree. I think this is comparable to the Boogie Monster, which doesn't see any play. It's slightly better in that it's cheaper, so you can get it out faster and start taking advantage of its ability to boost itself by killing things. And it has Rush, so you can play it and then kill something immediately with it to get the bonus. But where I think it fails is that because it's a warrior legendary, warrior doesn't have a whole lot of ways of healing and protecting its minions other than with like taunt minions. So yeah, you could put Darius behind something, but that'll only protect him for so long, and he's just going to get bigger and more dangerous, so they're going to want to deal with him in other ways. I mean, he's vulnerable to spells, he's vulnerable to more damage. If you're going up against another warrior, they can execute him because he's damaged. Like, there are so many ways to counter this, and just right off the bat, like, even if you play him and then get the kill off, chances are he's going to be at something like since he's getting 2 extra health on top of what he's got left, he's probably going to have 3 or 4, so he's going to be like a 6/4 at best, So, a 5 cost 6/4, how good is that? And I don't think that sees a whole lot of play just as is, so why is this good? So that's sort of where we're at right now. I think it's a slightly worse version of Boogie Monster in that it is only for warrior, whereas the people that I've talked to say that it's a slightly better Boogie Monster because it's cheaper and faster, and it'll be able to attack as soon as you play it and take a very swift advantage of that +2/+2 on kills. So that's where we're at. Whether or not that makes Darius actually playable, I'm not sure. If you get like 2 or 3 hits off of him, he becomes better than Garrosh. Or not Garrosh, Grommash. Sorry. One of the hell screams. But, how likely is it that he's going to survive that long? So, yeah, we'll have to see. But right now, we're sort of on the fence about it. Next, Amaris, Hunter Legendary. 10 cost, 8/8, Battle Cry. Double the attack and health of all minions in your hand. What? Holy crap. So first of all, I have to point out that this is a Dragon of Nightmare in World of Warcraft, and I'm wondering whether or not we're going to see the rest of the Dragons of Nightmare in this set, or is it going to be like one Dragon of Nightmare in each set this year, or what? Because them only having one of the 4 Dragons of Nightmare in Hearthstone in Standard at the same time just seems sort of, I don't know, sad to me. I kind of want to see all of them, It's sort of like when they did with the Old Gods, and they had all the Old Gods in one expansion. Why did they why did they sort of like blow it with the Dragons of Nightmare? I was looking forward to seeing that, but whatever. I guess they didn't want to repeat Whispers of the Old Gods too much with the Dragons of Nightmare, but I think it's a wasted opportunity. But the card itself, I mean, if you're going to spend all of your mana on one turn, especially as a hunter, you want to make sure that what you're doing is massive, and an 8/8 on its own, like even for hunter, that's not enough. But that battle cry of doubling the attack and health of all the minions in your hand, holy jeebus. That makes your Savannah Highmane a 12/10 for 6. That does so much. Like, it's too bad that it doesn't work with the Echo effect, because if it did, it would turn your hounds from earlier, the Echo Hounds, into 2-cost 4/2s with Rush, which is wow. But if you just play it the first time, then it comes back into your hand and it's a 2/1 again, so that's unfortunate. But like, that ability is crazy. I mean, it largely depends on what minions are in your hand at any given moment, but I mean, if you've got like 4 or 5 minions in your hand along with Emerus, why wouldn't you play this and get, like, you know, barring like if you're like about to die, like, yeah, you could say that this is slightly a more win more kind of card, because you can't waste an entire turn on one minion unless you're already winning most of the time. Like, maybe if you've managed to empty the board out some and made a stable state, or maybe your opponent had to do that in order to stop your previous board, then you play this and you're basically giving them the turn. But it's worth it. It's way worth it. So I definitely think Emerus is going to see some play. I like Emerus a lot. I don't really see the connection between Emerus himself and his ability, but I mean, who cares? I just think it's neat that there's a Dragon of Nightmare in Hearthstone now. Next, the Ravencaller, 3-cost neutral card. It's a 2/1 battle cry. Add 2 random 1-cost minions to your hand. This card is bad, guys. This card's really bad. Like, even hand buff doesn't want this. Even the Hunter Quest doesn't want this. This is bad. Like, think about it. You're basically spending 3 mana on a 1-cost card that creates 2 other 1-cost minions that you then have to pay another 1-cost for. So it's a 5-cost. It's like a 5-cost spell that summons 3 random 1-cost minions, which is bad. That's really bad. So yeah, no, I don't. This is a bad card. I don't see it at all. Next, Sound the Bells. Paladin card. 2-cost Echo. Give a minion +1/+2. Wow. I like it. I can understand why they didn't make this 1-cost, because, I mean, being able to cast this 10 times on anything would be absolutely insane. But at the same time, giving a minion +1/+2 sounds like it should cost 1. But being able to cast it multiple times is pretty nice. So that's I mean, again, with Echo cards, the more you use it, the less worth it is. So it's a 4-cost +2/+4, a 6-cost +3/+6, an 8-cost +4/+10, or a 10-cost +5/+12. I think. I might have messed that up somewhere. +5/+10? That makes more sense. Don't ask me how I messed that up. Bad at simple math, that's why I'm bad at Hearthstone. But I think this card is gonna definitely see a little bit of play. I mean, the quests are sticking around, so I mean, add this card with the rest of the Paladin buffs. Maybe Linessa Sunsora will see play. maybe the quest will see play. If this counts, like, individually, This card on its own, you put 2 of in a deck and wait till turn 10, and then you're basically completed the quest. Or you play that Murloc that puts the buff cards that are cast on it back in your hand. If this counts towards that, then that's pretty insane. I like that. So somebody try that out. Find out if that works. But even without it working, it's still a pretty neat buff. Next, Cheap Shot, 2-cost rogue card. Echo, deal 2 damage to a minion. It's all right. It's just like the last one. I kind of think it should have cost 1, but I can understand why they are hesitant to print 1-cost Echo cards. But at the same time, 2 damage. I mean, especially for Rogue, when they can usually get that off for free. I'm not so sure. I'm not. Is the ability to cast this multiple times really worth the extra mana cost? I'm not too convinced. Like, maybe if you're like a spell rogue and you've got like spell power on the board, and this actually does like 3 or 4 damage, and you don't have to cast it that many times, then maybe. Then sure. I mean, it's like a 6-cost clear the board. That's all right. But as it stands, I don't think so. Next, the Black Howell Gunspire. Warrior legendary, 7-cost, 3/8, can't attack. Whenever this minion takes damage, deal 3 damage to a random enemy. Warrior's not really getting amazing legendaries, are they? This one, I mean, it goes really well with Whirl Warrior, but it's not as good as Rotface. Or Festergut, or whatever his freaking name is. I don't know. Festerface. It's not as good as him. But if you're doing a bunch of whirl effects and you're dealing 1 damage to this thing over and over and over and over and over just on your own, then it's pretty okay. If you can give it taunt, then maybe it can be okay. But no. I mean, no, I don't think so. This is like a sad, like Ragnaros. Like a sad Ragnaros. I don't think so. But maybe. Maybe I'm wrong. Next, the Lady in White. 6-cost Priest legendary. It's a 5/5 with Battle Cry. Cast Inner Fire on every minion in your deck, as in set attack equal to health. Holy crap! See, this is why I was talking about how Darius Crowley and the other warrior legendary that I just talked about, that I already can't remember the name of, why they sort of seem to be lacking. Because you think about Lord Godfrey, you think about you think about Emerus, you think about this card. They're massive effects. They're wow, and then the warrior legendaries just seem to be just sort of like middling, like subpar to on par, maybe. But holy crap, like, yeah, there are a few instances where this could be bad, but in Priest, I mean, it makes the Northshire Cleric a 3/3. It makes your Obsidian Statue an 8/8. It makes Ysera a 12/12. It's so good. And I mean, on its own, it's not awful. It's not like a spell that does this. It has a body on top of it. It's a 6-cost 5/5 as well. Which, yeah, a 5/5 for 6 isn't amazing, but that Battle Cry, and it's a Battle Cry. It isn't, wow, this is alive. It's, you can't silence this. You can't stop this. Like, yeah, you could silence the cards individually, but you can't fill your deck with silences to counter a priest. This is insane. This is a crazy good card. Darius Crowley got shafted. Next, the Cursed Castaway. 6-cost, 5/3 rogue card with Rush, Death Rattle, draw a combo card from your deck. I mean, if you can cheat this out and get it for like cheaper, sure. If you're already in the late game and you're like on turn 10, sure. But I mean, as a combo card, I mean, also it's a death rattle, so you don't want to... Like, maybe if you don't kill it on the turn you play it. But then having it have Rush is pointless. So... But I'm bad at Rogue, so I mean, take everything with like a massive heaping pound of salt. But I mean, thinking about this, if you play it and then run the 5 damage into something to kill it and then draw the combo card, you can't then play the combo card unless you're in the way late game, in which case you're being a combo rogue wrong. You should be able to like play a whole bunch of combo cards. That's like Miracle Rogue. You're playing a whole bunch of cards at once. Spending 6 mana on a card, it's not super worth it. But on the flip side, if you pay 6 mana and like either your opponent kills it or you manage to kill it next turn, then you getting the combo card works with you doing some Miracle Rogue stuff. But that's you basically like sacrificing your previous turn to this card because of its heavy mana cost. And for Miracle Rogue, I mean, can you afford to do that? I'm not sure. I don't know because I'm not good at Miracle Rogue. But I mean, maybe. I don't know. Okay, so there's one more card. This card like came out like what, 10 minutes ago, and I want to include it in this video. So it's not on the website yet, so I put up a tab over here. Here it is. The Camellias. It's the other Paladin legendary. 1 cost. Each turn this is in your hand, transform it into a card your opponent is holding. That's pretty neat. Does that include spells? I would think because it's a minion, it would turn into a minion, but it says transform into a card, not necessarily a minion, so... can I get like a judge on that? I don't know. Assuming it turns into a minion, it can be good depending on who you're playing against. If it keeps its 1 cost, then it's good no matter what. I mean, like even if you're playing against a hunter, like a 1 cost Savannah Highmane, that's pretty nuts. If it doesn't keep its mana cost, then it's just sort of okay. You're basically copying a card, which, I mean, it doesn't help or hurt you. I don't really know why it's a legendary in that case. If it's any card and not just a beast, then it opens up more potential, but it also opens up more potential to be bad. Because, you know, your opponent's spells will not always benefit you. But then that's the same case with their minions. So it very much depends on how good your opponent is, whether or not this is good, and that's not really something you want to be betting on. At least not in casual play, you know. I mean, I could totally see this turning into like the River Crocolisk, and that's just sort of sad. You wouldn't want to. You would want to hold out for this turning into like a Grommash or something, wouldn't you? But again, if it keeps the 1 cost mana cost, then, you know, anything would be good. But if it changes its mana cost to be equal to the opponent's card as well, then you really got to hold out for the right one, and you don't want to be holding on to a card like this for that long, and it's flip flop. So maybe it's one of those cards that maybe you shove it in if you have an extra spot. But you don't really want that to be a thing with a legendary, you know? I also don't know why this is a legendary when a bunch of other classes have gotten cards that do similar things to this, but are not legendary. Why is this a legendary for Priest? Priest is really good at stealing the opponent's stuff and copying the opponent's stuff. You'd think this would be a common. Not a legendary. What's with that? I don't... I don't understand. But that doesn't make it bad. It just means I don't understand. Alright, so let's go through the quick ratings. Again, thumbs up means I like the card. It's not meta. I don't know about the meta. I don't understand the meta. It's not something I keep track of. But it's just, do I think the card is good? I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know what... it might be good. I reserve judgment. I don't think the card is good. I think the card is weak. I think it's bad. I don't think it'll see play. So, Coffin Crasher, I think is good. Darius Crowley, I'm giving a maybe. Emrys, I think is good. Ravencaller, I think is bad. Sound the Bells, I think is good. Cheap Shot, maybe. Black Howell Gunspire, maybe. Lady in White is amazing. Cursed Castaway is a maybe, because I don't know Rogue. And then Camellias is a maybe. So, those are the cards. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye, everybody.